Welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're going to be talking about the Cincinnati Bengals and if they made a mistake selecting Ja'Marr Chase over Penei Sewell just 2 weeks ago in the NFL Draft. Before we hop into the content of today's video, if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and drop a like on the video for me if you do enjoy it. We're on the road to 800 subscribers and every single subscriber helps me out. So if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. And with all that being said, let's hop on the video about the Cincinnati Bengals and their selection in the 2021 NFL Draft. The NFL Draft wrapped up about 2 weeks ago, and one of the most mysterious picks that nobody really had an idea of what the Bengals were going to do was at the number 5 spot. The debate for months has been between Penei Sewell and Ja'Marr Chase for the Bengals. Were they going to look to protect Joe Burrow with what many see as a generational tackle, or were they going to get his homeboy and continue to build on their chemistry that they had in a record-setting fashion at LSU? It seemed in the national media there was a huge split on what the Bengals should do. Many posed arguments for Chase, and many had arguments for Sewell as well. For Chase, he's one of the better receivers that we've seen come out in recent memory, and with his talent and ability at only 21 years old to match up with his former college quarterback, you're looking at a really scary duo there that can take the NFL by storm if all goes well. But we saw Joe Burrow last year get hurt, and many arguments state that that's likely to happen again if they don't get somebody to protect the quarterback. And the Bengals did go out there and get Riley Reiff and a couple other veterans in free agency, but nothing real special that they're going to have long term to help out the offensive line. Personally, I've always been on the side of taking Penei Sewell. I think offensive linemen are more valuable than wide receivers, especially when you already have a few good wide receivers on your team. The Bengals drafted T. Higgins with the first pick in the second round last year, and of course they have Tyler Boyd, and that's a fairly decent duo of receivers that they have. And you look at their offensive line, and really outside of Jonah Williams, do they really have anything worth writing home about? I don't think they do. If all the other 31 NFL teams looked at the Bengals offensive line, I think they're going to take one player from that line, and that's going to be Jonah Williams. So when reviewing that offensive line, I just think it's a little concerning that the Bengals are going to roll into the 2021 and 2022 NFL season with that offensive line once again. I've always been of the mindset that you could get a wide receiver that's closer to Ja'Marr Chase's skill level in the second round, rather than getting a tackle that's close to Penei Sewell's talent level in the second round. But the Bengals decided to take Ja'Marr Chase, and let's dive into the rationale behind that decision and what motivated the Bengals to actually select the stud wide receiver. In college with Joe Burrow as a sophomore, Ja'Marr Chase had 84 catches, 1,780 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 21 yards per catch. Those are ridiculous stats, and we have to keep in mind here, he is a sophomore when putting up these numbers. We all know he didn't return for his junior year. He opted out because of the coronavirus, and I think it was kind of a smart decision for Chase. If he played last season with a quarterback that's not as good as Joe Burrow, such as the quarterbacks LSU had playing last year, I know they had Myles Brennan for a couple games, and then they moved on to some of these younger players. If he had those guys throwing the ball to him, he was not going to put up very good numbers, or at least anywhere close to what he put up in 2019, and that could have had him fall off the board a little bit and get behind, let's say, the Alabama wide receivers such as Devontae Smith or Jalen Waddle. I think it was kind of smart for him as a business decision to opt out and just have the 2019 season in all of the scouts and teams' minds. And I think him doing that was a big reason why he actually was the first wide receiver taken off the board. We saw especially was in 2019, and he left college football with that tape being the last that anybody's going to see from him in a college uniform. A couple of days ago, the Bengals offensive coordinator Brian Callahan, he was interviewed and he gave some reasoning for the Bengals selecting Ja'Marr Chase and what their way of thinking was in selecting the wide receiver versus the offensive tackle. He went on to say, I want the best offensive line we can get, but we had an even less exciting offensive line in 2015. I look at Peyton Manning's offensive line in 2009 when the Colts set a million records and went to the Super Bowl. He was throwing to Pierre Garçon, Reggie Wayne, and Dallas Clark, and handing it off to Joe Adai. I can't name a lineman on the team besides Jeff Saturday. He had guys that won quickly and decisively. So from this, you can kind of understand what the Bengals' philosophy is going to be in this upcoming season. They're going to try to get their playmakers in space and get the ball out quick so their offensive line isn't asked to block for multiple seconds, resulting in their quarterback taking a lot of hits. And that sounds good in the spirit of things, but we all know in the NFL, it's not as easy as you make it sound. And there's definitely going to be some times where the Bengals want to take a deep shot, or Joe Burrow's going to have to hold onto the ball for some plays to develop, and the offensive line is going to have to hold up. You can only do quick and short routes for only so long until the defense just sits back and lets you dink and dunk all the way down the field before they put a stop to it. Callahan's point is reasonable, but I still think it's a little crazy to compare this Bengals team to Peyton Manning and the Colts with Hall of Fame quarterback Peyton Manning and Reggie Wayne. I mean, you have a really young team in Cincinnati, and all of your best players are not really anywhere comparable yet to those players that the Colts had. And of course, on the offensive line, they had another Hall of Famer in Jeff Saturday. And I know it's only one offensive lineman, but if you have one really solid offensive lineman, he makes your entire line better. And the Bengals don't have that guy that's just going to be a stud and be one of the top players at his position. And that's what the Colts had, where although they had some stopgap players, they also had a stud in the best center in the league. So I think comparing to the Colts as his example is not the best idea, but I do understand his reasoning as to what they're going to try to accomplish as an offense next season. Joe Burrow showed a lot of promise in his rookie season, throwing for 2,600 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions, and he only did that in about 9.5 games. In Burrow's rookie season, he averaged 40 passes a game, which is pretty incredible. I think as a coaching staff, it's not very smart to ask your rookie quarterback to throw the ball 40 times a game. I know the Bengals had some injuries with Joe Mixon last year, and that could have resulted in them running the ball less. But I think if the Bengals are really going to look to protect Joe Burrow more this year, they're going to have to hand the ball off to Joe Mixon more, or even just somebody out of the backfield to prevent Joe Burrow from throwing the ball 40 times a game. Because if you're going back that many times, it's just going to result in you taking hits because there's more chances of, your offensive line folding. And as we mentioned before, they don't have the best offensive line. And if you're throwing the ball 40 times a game, you're going to take some big shots throughout. I'll be really interested to see how the Bengals manage Joe Burrow and the Bengals offense next season. They're going to get Joe Mixon back, and of course, they're adding in a new stud, Ja'Marr Chase, to the offense. If I were the Bengals, I would have taken Penei Sewell, who many see as a generational talent, and I would have built my offensive line first and then kind of went back to playmakers. If you could have a stud left tackle guarding Joe Burrow's blind side for the rest of his career, I think that's more important than having a wide receiver. But the Bengals decided to go another route, and they wanted to take Chase and give Burrow another playmaker. And the 2021 Bengals success relies on the Bengals offensive coaching staff to figure out a way to get the ball out of Burrow's hands quick and minimize the hits that he can take. I'm a little bit worried for Burrow because I don't think the Bengals addressed their offensive line as much as they needed to. It was by far one of the worst units in the NFL last year, and it's really likely that it's going to be another bad unit again this season. I really don't want this to be an Andrew Luck situation where a really talented quarterback goes to a team where they don't really address the offensive line and they get the quarterback killed for many, many years till the quarterback just doesn't really want to play football anymore. And we'll just have to wait and see how the Bengals actually fix this issue. So as a football fan, I'm just hoping that Joe Burrow can stay on his feet all 2021 and 2022, and for that matter, the rest of his career. But thank you guys so much for watching the video. Let me know what you guys think of the Bengals and if they should have taken Penei Sewell or Ja'Marr Chase. If you guys are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and drop a like on the video if you guys did enjoy it. And with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I'll catch you guys next time.